We're talking hidden treasures here. I've got James Anderson. He is the Chief Executive Officer over at Guanajuato Silver. Going to do a little update here with the company. So, James, good to see you here. And yeah, I guess let's get right into it here. Been an interesting silver market. Things are turning up here. So, yeah, I want you to get into what you think's important here.
Let's talk about the stock chart, right? I mean, to some degree, that's what people are interested in. People invest in our industry and our junior mining companies to try and make some money at it. Not only have the shares performed really well recently, but I would suggest that they held up better in a bear market for 2 years prior to that. And that's very important, right? In our business, if exploration stocks don't work out, you can lose 90% of your money really fast. And it's very, very difficult to go from 10% back up to where you were before, right? So preservation of capital is important. And I would suggest that money invested in Guanajuato Silver 2 years ago, a year ago, 6 months ago, no matter which point you pick, we have materially outperformed our comparables all the way through the piece, and we're very proud of that. That's kind of a funny place to start an update, I guess, Rob. But it is important. I guess the other vital thing that your listeners, that your audience wants to hear, we are Mexico's fastest growing silver mining company. We're very proud of that. And a lot of the CEOs, when they come on your show, Rob, they will talk about all of the great things that are going to happen in the future, which they should, right? It's a future-looking business. But I have the advantage, I guess, I have the luxury of being able to talk about the quarter-over-quarter production growth in silver equivalent ounces for the last 5 quarters since we started mining in the fourth quarter of 2021. That is an impressive rise in production, and I can tell you, here's your forward-looking statement. Quarter over quarter throughout 2023 will look very similar in production rises. I don't have the numbers exactly, but next week we will put out what the first quarter's production was for first quarter of 2023. And as I say, I think the quarter over quarter through 2023 will see similar production rises. And anybody who who's listening right now, Rob, viewing Guanajuato maybe for the first time, we embarked on putting a silver focused mining company together, focused in Mexico. We completed our first transaction just 2 years ago. We purchased the El Cubo mine, which had been closed down for a couple of years. We started mining just 4 months after that. First gold and silver sales were in October of that year. And then last year in 2022, in August last year, so only about 8 months ago, we added the Valenciana, San Ignacio, and Topia mines, mostly in Guanajuato, but Topia is a little bit different for us. It's in the state of Durango, a little further north. And you saw that ramp up that we had on the last slide. We left December 2022 at a run rate of about 3.5 million silver equivalent ounces per year. We will do this year between 4.6 and 4.8 million silver equivalent ounces. That's what we're budgeted to do. And again, kind of a steady ramp up.
Yeah, it looks like your stock chart. So I think there's no secret why your chart's held up here. And I would say, James, too, to your point, the reason you do have a nice chart is you're getting the goods out of the ground. It's like you said, it's great to dream, and we need the exploration. But boy, I tell you, you've really done a fantastic job, and this timeline's great putting this together. So congratulations.
Thanks very much. I mean, everybody at Guanajuato Silver works really hard. Mining is always a speculative business, right, Rob? I mean, even if you look at the big companies, Barrick was, I don't know, 35 or 40 Canadian dollars 18 months ago, and came down and touched 22. That's representative of the biggest precious metals mining companies, right? So there's a lot of volatility in our marketplace, but I can tell you this: when things start to move, when things work, they work really, really well. In the last month, it is, where are we? April 14th. It's less than 40 days ago. The price of silver touched $20 per ounce. This morning, it's pulling back hard from 26. I can tell our business at Guanajuato Silver, it doesn't work so good at $20, right? We make a little bit of money, but it's really tough. At $26, right? We look really smart. So that type of volatility in the metals, grafted on to intrinsic volatility within the metals mining companies, it is not for the faint of heart. But by golly, when things go in the right direction, you can make a lot of money quickly in this business.
Yeah, paint the picture for investors on what else you're working on to feed that little facility you have there.
Right. Well, it's 4 mines now. It's 4 mines and 3 production facilities, mostly centered around this beautiful 450 years of mining history town of Guanajuato, Mexico, which is right in central Mexico. I'll take you through a couple slides here of El Cubo. San Ignacio is way out to the west here, but again, that's just 4 kilometers. So it's very hilly, so the roads are very curvy. But we'll talk about Valenciana as well. There's Cubo. One of the things that I think one of the big differences between us and so many of the other mining companies, Rob, is we have worked really hard to get really good value in the assets that we've purchased, right? So Cubo is a good example. We paid $15 million for it. The last time it changed hands in 2012 was for $200 million. So when you're buying things at pennies on the dollar, that helps a great deal. We will continue to ramp up production at Cubo. It has a capacity of about 45,000 tons a month. Currently, we are doing about 30,000 tons a month, and this year we'll ramp up to about 32,000. We think that that's about the best rate for the mine to operate, but it does leave us with excess capacity here, which is, it's a good thing. You can see the big plant that we've got at Cubo. We spent about $5 million refurbishing this. It's in great shape. We're very happy about that. Let's talk about Valenciana. So this is one of the mines that we bought last August, and I believe will be seen to be our most important asset in the years ahead. Valenciana is one, and the mines of Valenciana, so there's a whole series of mines that run basically north-south across this major break that is called the Veta Madre, or the Mother Vein. We control about 4.2 kilometers of the strike length of that major system. And this is one of the great silver mines in human history. This mine has been in production on and off, but mostly on, for about 450 years. In the 1700s, these mines were producing about 50% of the whole world's silver. Now, I don't think that we'll ever attain that again, but this mine can really be a great, important silver mine again. It's been underinvested in for a long, long time, not just when the previous owners had it, but since the 1930s. So the second previous owners were a cooperative group, kind of a socialistic local group that mined whatever they saw in front of them, and didn't think too much about planning and drilling and what are we going to mine in 2 years or in 10 years?
Guerrilla mining, just go.
Yeah, exactly. And it's I say this respectfully, but in a very sort of old school traditional Mexican style of mining, right? You go and mine what's in front of you, and certainly don't spend too much on development work and exploration work. Well, we can do that differently. We will do it differently. We've got all kinds of different exploration targets on this, the parallel veins, stuff that's at depth. It's really remarkable to me with the pedigree of this mine. You can go hundreds of meters at different areas in the mine, and there are no drill holes, right? So very exciting. We're mining right now from this Los Pozos area, and we bring that material up on surface to this plant, which is very similar to the one at Cubo. It's a little older, but it's in good shape. It's a flotation system plant, just like the one at Cubo. It's got 3 ball mills, same as Cubo. It's got a 2-stage crushing system. So it's in very good shape. And we're ramping up right now after this mine was shut down about 18 months ago. We're ramping back up to about 20,000 tons a month by the end of the year. And so we'll have excess capacity here as well. And one of the ways that we will be able to ramp up production here, this shaft, again, underinvested in by the previous owners, we are spending some money reinvesting in that shaft. So rather than the material having to be trucked out of the mine and then back around to that production facility, it will go straight up this production shaft. And that should be ready by mid-May to begin production in that fashion. And it makes a big difference rather than a 90-minute trip out of the mine and back over to Cata. The mineralization can go straight up that shaft. It takes about 7 minutes.
Wow.
And then, San Ignacio, that's the mine that does not have a production facility. It's about a 40-minute drive to the west of the city of Guanajuato. It's very good grade, though. And that operation, we put that operation back into production 4 days after we completed the purchase of the transaction in August. So just really quickly, I don't want to bore anybody out there, but this is the Topia mine in Durango that we also own now. Topia has also been in production for a long time, about 70 years. It was once the property for 40 years. It was mined by Peñoles, which is Mexico's largest mining company. Topia then, in their eyes, became a little bit small for their very large mine portfolio. Certainly just the right size for us. There are narrow veins here, but very good grade. The resource grade is about 1 kilo of silver per ton. So that works pretty good. The plant is old, again, underinvested in. We have budgeted about $3.5 to $4 million to be spent on the plant over the next 18 months or so, both modernizing it and expanding production capacity. So these are all the things that we'll do this year. And that $5.2 million exploration budget, that's very important, Rob. If you look at our news releases over the last 12 months or so, you'll see periodically very good results from all of our exploration. We are a company that realizes that we have to spend money on exploration and development. We've got 3 drill rigs turning at Topia right now, 1 at San Ignacio. That's going to shift a little bit in the next 4 weeks or so. But we will continue to deliver exploration news to the marketplace for the whole year. We put out one really fantastic drill result maybe a month or so ago at San Ignacio. It was a drill hole that cut about 5 meters of true width of about 1.2 kilos of silver equivalent. Like, that's a really good drill hole in that system. We have drilled some holes deeper than that, which are out for assay. The rocks look pretty good, but we haven't seen any numbers yet. So we've got our fingers crossed for that as well.
So let's put this in a nutshell here for investors. Chart looks good. Silver's on a roll. You're a company that's exploring with profit. What a fantastic place to be, and don't have to go to the market. Imagine if you ever do, you'll have a dang good reason to do it. your production model with several mines. Yeah, James, reel this in for investors who see a strong chart already, see silver running. I'd argue you're pretty much pegged to silver, and yeah, the silver runs, and there's multiples out of this deal for them.
Well, we've started just this morning, Rob. I don't know if you saw this or not, but we have started selling Guanajuato Silver 10-ounce silver bars.
Yes.
We were selling some Guanajuato Silver coins. Now we've got some bars. So I think you are part of that fraternity of investors that likes physical silver.
Bring it to a silver symposium, please.
Absolutely, we will. Absolutely, I'll smuggle some across the border. But people know that it's money. People know that the governments of the world are systematically devaluing currencies right across the globe. So that has to be good for the price of gold, which is knocking at all-time highs. And in fact, if you look at it in most other currencies in the world, it is through all-time highs and going better. And it certainly is true for silver, but silver is different. It's also an industrial metal. And in the 21st century, the most important element of the growth for silver, the growth for demand for silver comes from solar panels, from photovoltaics. Currently, about 12% of the mined silver in the world goes to solar panels. The growth in the solar panel industry over the next few years is going to be immense. Whether you like that, believe in it, I don't care. The governments of the world want solar panels on top of everything.
Don't kill the messenger.
And right, and there will continue to be huge demand for silver. That 12% number, so 12% of the mined silver goes into solar panels today. That number will go to about 25% within 3 years, and I don't know what that displaces, in terms of other uses for silver. But I can tell you this: it will put price pressure on silver, which is what we're seeing right now in simply the price for silver in the demand supply scheme for the metal.
Okay, well, we'll certainly look forward to tracking those hidden treasures you got there. So James Anderson, he runs the show over there at Guanajuato Silver, call signs at GSVR. So James, appreciate that update there, and we'll look forward to tracking your success here moving forward.
Thank you very much, my friend. You be well. Looking forward to the symposium this year, and we'll talk again soon.